Hi, everyone. Welcome to General Business 7, Entrepreneurship. My name is Juliana Mendez, and I'm going to be your instructor for this course. Before the semester begins, I wanted to take a moment to just say hi and introduce myself, talk a little bit about my background, and also go over some of the requirements for the course and kind of give you an idea of what to expect moving forward. I'm going to go over things like the textbook, the types of activities that we're going to be doing, and just kind of go over how the course is going to be set up. So I've prepared a short presentation for you to kind of go over those things. I'm really excited about teaching entrepreneurship. It's one of my favorite topics to teach, something I'm very passionate about. So I hope you're excited. I have a lot of great lectures. I have a lot of great guest speakers and activities that you all get to engage in to hopefully give you a strong foundation of this subject. So I'm going to go ahead and share my presentation that I've prepared for you. And if you have any questions, always feel free to reach out through the Canvas inbox. I am really great about responding quickly and getting back to you with quick questions, or if you want to meet, I'm also happy to meet. I always have Zoom office hours, and if those times don't work for you, I know many of you are working right now throughout the day. So if those times don't work for you, just let me know and I'm happy to set up another time to meet. It's important to me to support you on this learning journey and to be able to answer any types of questions, or even if you want to just bounce ideas or talk about career, anything like that, I'm always happy to meet with students. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and go over the course. All right, so again, this is General Business 7, Entrepreneurship, and I am Professor Mendez. So this course is designed to give you an overview of what it takes to establish and manage a business. So by the end of the class, you'll be able to really understand what it takes, how it even happens, how you grow it, how you manage it, all of the aspects of running, starting and running the business. So I think my hope is that it will change your perspective and that you will never look at another business the same, another product, another service, because you'll have a better understanding of what it took for that business to be where they are today. Some of the topics we're going to cover are the basics of entrepreneurship, the entrepreneurial mind, strategic management, different types of business ownership, how to acquire an existing business. We're also going to talk about franchises a little bit. We're going to talk about a business plan, a marketing plan, how to price items, how to manage your cash flow, build a financial plan, how to find money to grow your business or even start it. We're going to talk about leading and growing businesses. And these are just some of them among many others that we're going to go over. Some of them we'll get really deep into. Some of them will be very high level, but the idea is to give you a very wholesome perspective of this, this field. So before I jump into more of the course, I wanted to talk a little bit about myself, and I share this with you in the hopes that, number one, that if there's something about my background that you're interested in, that you'll reach out, and I'm always happy to share. I've had a very diverse set of experiences in my life, and a lot of students come to me when they ask me, that they ask me for advice because they're having a hard time deciding what they want to major in. And I always share with them that for many people like myself, it's not always a straight journey. A lot of times there's a lot of kind of turns and twists that you have to kind of go through in order to get to the idea of like what you really want to do. And I'll go over my background in a minute, but I just want to share that having a diverse background is something that I see as an asset and something that has really helped me in my life and my career. And so as I share this with you, if you are in that journey yourself, where you kind of have a lot of different ideas of what you want to do, just know that it's okay. And when the time is right, you will know. And you shouldn't feel pressured to choose something just because. I always share that for me, I chose something because I was feeling pressured, but I tried to choose something general so that it wouldn't tie me to a specific field. And so I'll go through that journey with you. But if there's anything about my background that you're interested in, I encourage you to reach out. I'm always happy to share my story, what that experience was like for me and how I got from point A to point B. There's a lot of steps in between that you don't all see. And I think some of those are really important. So if you're curious, please reach out and I'm happy to share. So first, I want to talk about the fact that I am a former Yuba College student, and that is one of the reasons I'm very passionate about teaching our students here in our community, because I came from here and I know what it's like to be from a rural community like our community here in the Yuba Sutter area. So I like to share this picture. This is me when I was 15 years old and I was an Upward Bound student. I was accepted into the Upward Bound program. It was the very first year that that program was offered at Yuba College. And at the time they had dorms. So I started my first year of college when I was 15 in the summer at Yuba College. And this is another student that was in the program with me. And this is us obviously in front of the library. And during the summer, I took classes with students. I worked at the financial aid office. I was just an intern there. And so that was my journey, you know, being a Yuba College student. And I graduated from Live Oak High School. You know, when I was 17 years old, I graduated from Live Oak High School. So I'm from Live Oak. That's where I was born in Yuba City, raised in Live Oak. I went to Live Oak High School. And my parents and siblings are all, you know, sort of born and raised in this area as well. My parents actually immigrated from Mexico when they were in their 20s, and they decided to settle in this region. And so that's kind of why we ended up here. My dad is a farm worker. He's this last year was his 50th year working in the fields, and he continues to work in the fields. He enjoys it. He keeps it sort of keeps him active, and he keeps saying that he doesn't want to quit or retire. And so he actually works in the orchards around the Sutter Center. So sometimes when I'm in there teaching, I will have my students, you know, look out the window when he's working out there. And that's, you know, that's my connection to this community. That's how deep it is. And, you know, going to Yuba College, I think a lot of us in this community, sometimes it's hard to see a world or a career beyond, you know, this region. And I was one of those students as well. I struggled with kind of seeing, first of all, thinking about what I wanted to be, who I wanted to be, and also just kind of seeing a life for myself outside of the region. I kind of struggled with kind of believing in myself and what I could and what I was capable of, what I could do. So just kind of a side note on that, because I know that when you're from a rural community, when you're from a small community, you're different, you think different. I've lived in Los Angeles, and when I've lived there, I feel that I don't connect so much with those people. Not that they're bad, we're just different. I think when you're raised in a smaller community, you're used to different things. And so I had a hard time adjusting to Los Angeles. Not just in terms of the city and the population, but also just kind of navigating such a big place. So I love being from a small community. So going on my journey, so after I graduated from Live Oak High School, I was accepted to Sacramento State. I majored in philosophy with a concentration in ethics and law, and I had 2 minors in anthropology and deaf studies. Very, very diverse. And this is because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I wanted to keep my options open. So in my mind, I just wanted to expand and kind of capture as much as possible. At one point, I did think about going to law school, and that was sort of why I kind of focused more on philosophy as a major. Deaf studies came from Yuba College because when I was a student there in the summers, one of the electives that we could take was sign language. And so I started taking sign language when I was at Yuba College, and that's what eventually led me to minor in that field. So I went to Sac State, and then after I graduated, I applied to an internship and got accepted at the state capitol. And so I randomly went into politics. I worked in the California Senate for 8 years. I started for 1 year. I thought it would be a good transition out of college, but it ended up becoming 8 years. I had 4 different roles, and I kept getting promotions, which made it really hard to leave. And then eventually I just, you know, decided that I had to make it happen. I was happy and I made decent money. I had great benefits, but I fell in love with business. And my love for business started while I was working in the state capitol. These are just a few quick photos of my experience there. The photo on the right is former Governor Jerry Brown. So I got to work with a lot of high-level politicians in that role. I also got to work on legislation that was signed by Governor Schwarzenegger, and I got to work on things like the California Dream Act and those types of big, policy initiatives. So while I was working at the state capitol, I started meeting a lot of business folks that would come into lobby, and that's kind of where my interest sparked in business. And I realized that I had no experience in business. I had never started a business. No one in my family had ever started a business. I didn't know anyone who had started a business. And coming from Live Oak, there isn't a lot of, it's not a big place. So those people that did own businesses, it's a very few and limited group. And so I just became very curious. And I decided to start a business. I said, if I want to understand what it really takes, I thought, if other people can do it, why can't I do it? So I saved a little bit of money and I decided to start a general store called Dollar Central. I built it from the ground up and I had it for 2 years. I went to a Long's Drugs that was going out of business, and I bought their fixtures. I went to a Rite Aid and bought some of their registers. I bought an old U-Haul truck that had been retired, and I put my logo on it, and I found all of these wholesalers in Los Angeles. I got my wholesale permit. I ended up driving the U-Haul truck to Los Angeles, meeting with all these different companies, these wholesalers, and basically stocked a store. And I had that business for 2 years. It was a general store, so I sold everything. And that experience I did while I was working full-time in the state capitol. So I always joke and I tell people that I didn't sleep for 2 years, but it's kind of true. It was a very, very stressful time, but having that business is one of the greatest decisions that I made because it really taught me so much about business. And it was also one of the most fulfilling experiences for me to have, because I got to see a business literally from the ground up, all, from my work, my labor. And that was so empowering and so moving for me. And I knew then that I had to transition to business because I had found my passion. And so a couple of years, not obviously it takes time to prepare, but I decided to apply to business school. And obviously I had a philosophy major for undergrad. So it was a big transition. I had a philosophy major as my undergrad. I had worked in politics and I had this small experience with business. And I had also gotten involved with real estate. I bought my first home when I was 22, and at the time, the market was so low because it was during the recession, and I was able to get a really cheap house, and it was my first house, but that also sparked my interest in real estate. So I had my feet sort of dipped in all these different things, but I knew that business is where my heart was. So I started preparing for business school and kind of figuring out how I was going to sell that to a business school, how I was going to sell that even though I had a philosophy major and I worked in politics at the state capitol, that I really wanted business as my career. And so I worked for some time to do that. I had to study for an exam, get my letters of recommendation, all that good stuff. And I applied to a bunch of different business schools, and I got accepted to the University of Southern California, Marshall School of Business. And I quit my job in the Senate and I moved to LA to go to USC full time. My program was 2 years long. I got my master's in business administration with the focus in entrepreneurship. So entrepreneurship really is my passion, and that is why this class is my favorite class to teach. A couple photos from my time at USC. The one that I want to focus you, so this is when I graduated and going to tailgates. This one here where I'm presenting with a logo that kind of looks like a Pepsi logo. So this was a really neat experience that I had through my business school education. Throughout a semester, we got to work for a company and solve some kind of business problem for them. my company with my group that I was assigned was Korean Airlines. So that's actually the Korean Airlines logo. And for the entire semester, we worked on this project for the company in Los Angeles. And at the end of the semester, we actually flew to Korea and we presented our findings to the executives of Korean Airlines. So that photo is when we were presenting. Also one of the most empowering experiences that I've had, because you see all these big companies and you think, wow, they're such big companies, they must have these like, geniuses working behind the scenes, coming up with their business strategies and whatnot. And what I realized from not just my own project, but the projects of all my classmates, because I got to actually travel to see some of their presentations in China and Korea, what I learned is that we are those geniuses. It could be you, it could be your classmate, it could be me. Anyone has the potential to solve these business challenges for these big companies. And it's just about putting yourself in that role. And here I am, this person that grew up in Live Oak. My parents are farm workers, and I'm telling the Korean Airlines executives what they should do with their products or with their business strategy. And that was a really empowering experience for me. And I try to give that to my students in my own way through my classes. And I want you all to know that you are those geniuses and you have what it takes. You just have to position yourself to get there. And so just a side note on that. Now, today, obviously, I teach at Yuba College. I really wanted to I have had all these different experiences in my life, both in my career and personal life. And I really wanted to find a way to bring that back to my community. So I came back to this region because I wanted to empower and share my knowledge and my experiences with the students from my community. I don't think there are a lot of people that take the time to really share what they learn. And so I hope that I can be that resource for you. Like I said earlier, I think it's important to share and, kind of pass along the fortune and also the great lessons that I've had in my life. I want to share those with you all, and I hope to do so both in my teaching and also, hopefully if you take some time to meet with me during office hours. So of course I teach at Yuba College. I have a business called Bilingue Clothing Co. I, have a storefront on Amazon. I have my real estate properties that I've sold some. I just mostly manage and do the property management of them now. I work at a company called My ECFO, and I'm a financial advisor. So I do like wealth management, investment strategy. I work on taxes. I'm certified to do taxes in the state of California. I work on kind of any financial issues that my clients have. So I'm very, very knowledgeable about personal finance. And then, like I said, I sell both on my website and on Amazon. I have an Amazon storefront. So I think the idea is that when you look at this, I want you to kind of understand that my strategy in life and my career, I think it's really important for me to have all these different experiences so that I can be a good professor to you, because it keeps me on my toes. It keeps me up to date on the trends, what's going on in the business world. So I like to engage in all these things because I think it's really important to bring all those lessons into the classroom. But also, I want you to see that my strategy is to diversify both my income, but also my mind, and so I can get into all these different topics and bring that back to you in the lessons that I teach. It also allows me to make great connections with people, so I can continue reaching out and bringing great guest speakers to our classroom. One of the things that I always like to share and offer my students is I started Bilingue, and I'll share the website in a minute, but Bilingue Clothing Co. is a business that I just started because I wanted to kind of share a little bit about my culture, and I wanted to create a youth program at Live Oak High School specifically, where I could have students participate in an entrepreneurship leadership program and create a product that they could sell on our website. And unfortunately, it had to be shut down when COVID started, but I still offer it to my students. So if any of you are interested and you would like to design a product to sell on my website or on my Amazon page, I'm happy to sort of walk you through how to do that and allow you to keep the proceeds. So let me know if you're interested. I do this because when I launched Bilingue Clothing Co., I was literally drawing that logo that you see there. I drew it, and it ended up, getting digitized and being put on T-shirts. And I started making other designs, and I realized that in itself, seeing something that you created and putting it on a T-shirt or a piece of clothing or, a pop socket or whatever it is, it's so empowering for you to post this item on the internet, on the World Wide Web, and someone out there likes it enough to buy it. And that even just, and number one, seeing it on a shirt, seeing it on a product, very empowering. But when someone purchases it and actually wears it and posts pictures of themselves wearing it, it's such an empowering thing. And I think one of the biggest lessons of entrepreneurship is that it's your idea, your creativity that ends up kind of creating this business. And that is the experience that I want to share with my students. That's the experience that I wanted to share through my youth program, but I also want to share it with you. So if anyone's interested, I'm happy to allow you to do that through my storefront. This is my website, bilingueclothingco.com, and then I have my Amazon site, and I'm going to show you really quickly. Let's see. I'm going to show you really quickly what that looks like. So this is my website, and this is where I sell my products. And it just has a bunch of different stuff, so you can go in there and check it out. And then I also have my Amazon storefront. So I have it's an Amazon marketplace that's for business owners. It's called Merch. And you can basically create, this is the main page, it's just merch.amazon. So you have to apply through, a business kind of background, and you have to get approved by Amazon. But basically, you upload your artwork, you choose a product type, you choose colors, you add a description, just like you would if you're selling anything online. And then it's posted on the Amazon page. And obviously, there's copyright considerations. You can't just copy and paste, artwork. It has to sort of be your own, but you can choose any of these products. You have phone cases, pillows, a tote bag, hoodies, there's tank tops. So if you're curious and want to try it, I'm happy to allow you to use my storefront and try it out and see how it works and see your product on Amazon. I think it's a very empowering thing. And if I can share that with you, I'm all about it. So just a side note on that opportunity. A little bit that I like to share about myself is that I love to travel. Here are some of the countries that I have visited. The most recent one was Iceland. I got to go last year. It's one of my passions as well. I started when I was 23, I believe. And every year I try to go somewhere. Sometimes it doesn't happen, but I do make it a priority to try. And I think it's important to they always say, be a student of the world. But it really does kind of change your perspective, and it makes you really appreciate home. So just a couple of photos that I like to share with the students of some of the places that I have visited. This is in Morocco, sandboarding in the Sahara Desert, also in the Sahara Desert in Morocco. This is the Great Wall of China with some of my USC classmates. And this is most recent Iceland. I got to see the Northern Lights. So that was really neat. One experience that I like to share with my students, something called Camino de Santiago. So I walked from France, from the tip of France all the way to Santiago de Compostela in Spain. And it took me 31 days. Here's a couple photos from the experience. It was, some days it snowed, some days it hailed, some days it was hot. Very unique experience that I got to do, and it was one of my bucket list items, and I got to do it shortly before I started teaching. So I just always like to share. It took me 31 days, and it's about 500 miles from point A to point B. So just a little bit about myself. So now that you know a little bit more about who I am, I hope that, like I said, you'll feel comfortable reaching out as things come up throughout the semester. If you just want to chat about career, I'm happy to help you think through things and share what I've learned about those different paths throughout my life. So jumping back to the course now. So the required course materials for this class, we just have a textbook. It's called Entrepreneurship Theory, Process, and Practice. It is a Cengage textbook. So if you have, I always try to use Cengage textbooks for my classes, because if you buy one Cengage Unlimited membership, it allows you to have access to all the books, the ebooks. And if you want a physical one, you can actually rent it out for $8. You just have to contact Cengage. But it's the cheapest way, I think, to buy textbooks. If you have a lot of professors that use Cengage textbooks, you can just get one membership, and it saves you a lot of money. So I hope if you have Cengage for another class, you don't have to buy the book. You just have to link it to the class, and I'll have a link in the syllabus module that you can click on to just link it. But otherwise, you're good to go. So if you have Cengage Unlimited, you just have to link it. If not, I would recommend checking with your other classes to see if they have Cengage textbooks before buying it. Otherwise, it's up to you if you want to just do the ebook or the actual physical textbook. Our course structure, it's asynchronous. It just means that I'm going to be recording lectures and posting them. A lot of the college administration has really been pushing us to make our courses or structure them this way so that our students can go and work. So that's going to be my structure for the semester. Anything that you're required to watch throughout the week, I will post in Canvas, and I will have an announcement with the summary that kind of tells you what you'll be learning that week, and the lecture videos will be on there. I do incorporate Flipgrid video discussions in my class. So most professors post a discussion, and then you have to respond to 5 students. And, I had a lot of students give me feedback that they're just kind of fatigued or they have discussion fatigued, and they're just tired of having to respond to all these different classmates. It takes time, to read through all these long posts. So what I decided to do is switch to a program called Flipgrid. You can download the app on your phone or your tablet, or you can use it on your computer. And I'll give you a discussion prompt, and you basically just turn on the camera, answer the discussion prompt. The first week, you will be required to respond to your classmates, and you'll just post there's a comment section under each video, and you can comment there. You do have an online learning and syllabus quiz. Those are due on Sunday. If you don't submit them by that day, you will be dropped from the class. There is a wait list, so that's our way of making room for inactive for students by getting rid of the inactive students. Sometimes students will register and they just won't drop it, and they're not intending to stay in the course. So that's our way of making sure that the students are active in the course. So again, make sure to complete the online learning and syllabus quizzes by Sunday. And also you have an introduction Flipgrid video that's also due. I will hold office hours on Zoom every week. They're always posted on the homepage. So if you ever want to just check to see if I'm available, just look on the homepage. And my link for my Zoom is on there as well. I usually just kind of hang out and wait for students to join. Sometimes I go through phases where there'll be weeks where no one will join, and then there'll be weeks when a lot of students join. But I encourage you to just come in and chat and talk about things. If you have any questions, or if you want to talk through some of your business ideas, I'm happy to help you think through them. But that's it. Thank you for your time and getting to the end of this presentation. I really look forward to having you in class this semester. Entrepreneurship is such a unique subject, and what makes me so excited about teaching it is that it really changes the way you think. nowadays, no matter whether you're starting a business or not, people look for workers that have this entrepreneurial mindset. And it's something that allows you to see the world differently. You see opportunities where others don't. You go to the store and you'll never look at products the same again. You'll never look at services the same again, because you understand what really went into making this happen. It's a really unique perspective to have. And the neat thing is that those skill sets that you learn, they really do stick with you, and you'll go about your life looking at things a little bit differently. And I think it's really neat. You're going to learn about what it takes to be an entrepreneur. It takes a lot of creativity, a lot of passion, a lot of determination, perseverance. And, you really have to sort of be resourceful and find the road to be an entrepreneur. That there is no road, there is no path. When you start college or when you start a job, there's always like, oh, okay, well, you do this and this and this and this, and then you get here. In entrepreneurship, there is no direct path. You have to figure it out on your own. And sometimes that journey leaves you kind of feeling isolated or lonely. And it's that passion and determination and perseverance that kind of gets you through those little bumps in the road. And so you'll really learn what it takes. And you'll understand that it's sort of a way of life, a way of thinking through things. And I hope that through this course, you learn what it takes, but also how to test ideas that you may have and see if it's for you, and see if that idea is for you, or, kind of get a better sense of how you would even go about looking and exploring whether an idea is possible. And by idea, I mean a business idea. So anyway, I'll stop there. I'm really looking forward to the semester. I hope you are too. Welcome to General Business 7, and that is it for me. Thank you.